Welcome to Vintage Lunchbox Reviews, a show in which I review my vintage lunchbox. It's right there in the name. Today we're going to look at a lunchbox that is very similar to one that we've already looked at. In fact, you can think of lunchboxes as having 6 sides to display artwork, and 5 of the sides on this lunchbox are the same as one we've already looked at. So let's take a look at the 6th side that is different. And this is Animal from the Muppets. Look how great that looks. Now, this lunchbox has one very faded side, but the other 5 sides are all better than the other lunchbox that I have that is also the Muppets, the Fozzie Bear lunchbox that we looked at. So I wish I could combine the two somehow and make one really great looking lunchbox. So as we saw on the Fozzie Bear lunchbox, this is the same artwork. It says the Muppets right there, and again, this is the same as the other one, but you can tell this one is very, very faded. Also, someone has put a sticker right there for us. So again, I don't try to peel those off. I just think this is a just kind of a sign that these things were loved and used by kids, and so I just leave them on there. It just reminds me that these are great to look at. They are a type of art, a pop culture art, but they were also used, and so these are not things that I put just on a shelf and behind glass and lock them up. These are things I've mentioned before. I've used these. I've taken my lunch to work sometimes in these lunch boxes just for fun. So, but again, this one looks like it was on display somewhere in direct sunlight, and it would take a long time to fade it to that point, but someone managed to do it. So again, if you look at the overall, the colors or the lack of color, and then look at this other side, like how bright and vibrant that is. You can tell this side was obviously displayed out towards the sun, and it may have been on display with other lunch boxes. And the reason I say that is because if you look at the sides look really well. I think I have, I still have the Fozzie one over here. Hang on. So just to compare, this is the animal lunchbox. This is the Fozzie Bear one. So you can see the Fozzie Bear one is much more washed out, and on all the sides, it's exactly the same. Here's the Jack, picture of Jack the monster, and then the obviously much more faded one. So everything on this animal one is much better except for and I don't know if you would call this the front or the back. I mean, I guess you would call it the front because it is on the lid. It is the lid artwork, so that maybe that's how you would determine it's the primary. But what sets this one apart from the Fozzie Bear one is obviously this picture of animal. Now, I actually have a lunchbox guide, like a collector's book that tells lists prices, and it works as a good checklist for finding different models of lunchbox. And it doesn't have this one, which is kind of interesting. It has a Kermit the Frog variation. It has the Fozzie Bear one, which I have, but it does not have this animal one listed. So I don't know if this one came a little bit later. I don't know if it just for whatever reason it's not in the book. I found other errors in the book, so it's possible that it was just left out on accident. But the thing about these is, and I'll tell you something that's really interesting about this one. But in a lot of these lunchboxes, the artwork is kind of embossed. You know what I mean? You have the characters pop up a little bit or whatever. But the animal picture and the Fozzie one are completely smooth. So it's doesn't seem like this was given as much attention as other maybe lunchboxes or whatever, and that they just replace this artwork. And so without that embossing, it would have been a lot easier to swap out and feature different characters. And I wonder how much extra work it would have been because, not every kid identified with Fozzie the Bear. Not every kid wanted to be Kermit. You know, there were animal kids. I'm sure there were Gonzo kids. Where's the Miss Piggy ones? I don't think that they made a Miss Piggy one. So if it was that easy to do, I'm surprised that they didn't do 20 different ones. And maybe they just did some market research and they said, hey, here's the three most popular characters, and that's who we're going to do. I would think that this one would invite trouble because kids are often going to act and react based on what they're looking at. So, you know, if I went to school with a Fozzie the Bear lunchbox, then that's what I would do. I would go tell jokes and I would be like, waka, 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 you know, that sort of thing. Or Kermit the Frog, I would do my bad Kermit the Frog impersonation. But with an animal one, you can just see kids yelling and getting out of control, maybe throwing food or something like that. So a little bit interesting choice to pick animal, but who doesn't love animal? Actually, when I was a kid, I had an animal hand puppet. That was a lot of fun to play with. On the inside of this one, not much different than the inside of the other one. We can see there's just some traditional rust spots down there in the corners, kind of a weird spot on that one, but no instructions telling us which way to put the thermos, and nothing really out of the ordinary on this lunchbox. So again, we've got the featured artwork of Animal, you know, the drummer of Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. So he's always been a popular character. He was pivotal in the first Muppet movie. He drank a potion that made him super gigantic, and he was able to save the Muppets at one point. So Animal has always been a beloved member of the Muppets and the Muppet crew. Now, next to that, I do have the Muppet thermos. Now, I only have one Muppet thermos, so I have it sitting strategically between the two Muppet lunchboxes, so they kind of share it. I'm sure everybody is familiar with the meme of Kermit where he is sipping the drink, you know, and it almost looks like that, you know, except for he's eating a sandwich here, but it's that same kind of, if you look at it like a way, it almost looks like that meme, and it's not until you look up close that you can see that. Down at the bottom, we've got Jim Henson's The Muppets. We've got some copyright information. Again, Kermit eating his lunch there. He's got a little sandwich, and he's got some other stuff, so that would be on par with this. Now, in the book that I have, and these kind of details are difficult to track down. In the book, it shows a white lid on top of this. This is a brown lid. I don't honestly know what the original color was. When I looked online, I saw ones that were yellow as well, which would make sense with this. I could almost see a green one or something like that, or a red one, because you've got this red logo. So it's really hard to say what color it came with. Again, in the Lunchbox guide that I have, it has a white lid, but those aren't always correct. So this one is super dusty from sitting up on a shelf as well. Anyway, we could have put our little Kermit the Frog swamp juice, put that in our little thing. We've got our normal thing, and here we go with the thermos surprise. I know I've never opened this one, so crush your fingers. Crush your fingers for something bad, baby. Okay, there is something in this one. It looks clean, but it don't look that clean. I mean, it's clean, but I suspect maybe it just got rinsed out or washed out or something. But this thing needs to be washed. I need to set this one aside. This one needs to go through the dishwasher or maybe wash it out with a little bleach. Yeah, there's... That's our first surprise. You can see kind of the bottom of this. This is kind of an interesting mechanism where you would have drank out of. It almost looks like a USB-C shape, and it's an odd thing to notice. But you've got that We're going to seal this one back up. Then again, you've got this little thing that snapped open. It's really really firm. Like you can, it doesn't just flop open and close. Then you close it down like that. We're going to close that one up and put the lid back on that. So this is the Muppets thermos, and I believe all the Muppet lunchboxes came with the same thermos. And this is Animal right here. It's a really good lunchbox. Muppet wise, Animal is a good character to have. So anyway, this is the Muppet Lunchbox, one of my mini vintage lunchboxes. Tune in tomorrow around lunchtime to see what is next on the menu.